Ava, how are you? Dustin Mosley here. We're going to jump right into this, and at the end, we'll talk about kind of the plan of action moving forward. But overall, you move really good. Your physical part of you as an athlete. I mean, you look the part. We've just got to get these movement patterns working a little bit better to create maximum external rotation. And so as we walk through this, what we're looking for is trying to create kind of a catapult effect. So think about your shoulder as we fast forward through here. When you start to lay back right here, you'll see that part. So that's kind of a spring in your shoulder, okay? And then as you accelerate the elbow past your face, right here, see that right there? You're still in that external rotation. Then think about the elbow, right? Or utilizing the tricep as a spring as well. And then through the finish of it, we want to use the wrist. So there's kind of three springs in the arm, okay? 70% of your total velocity can be obtained from sitting on your butt, feet out forward, 80% from your knees, 85% from a stationary rotation, which I'll show you what all that means with our video drills, and then 95% from a rocker drill. So once we understand that, we understand that the top half is so important, and arm path efficiency is the number one key to being able to throw the ball to your potential, right? Whatever your ceiling is, we'll get you there, but we've got to load those springs. And so what we'll see as we back up here, first and foremost, is anytime you're playing catch, try to separate from your glove. You'll see how you never really get inside the glove. Think about everything that we do. If I'm fielding a ground ball, as I come up to make that throw, I'm taking the ball from the glove. If I'm in the outfield, I'm receiving that ball, I'm pulling the ball out of the glove. So try to work everything from your glove, okay? The other thing is when you start, I'm going to show you some videos and send you some stuff. We want to start with both of our feet even. We want to start closed off, so that way when I shuffle into this and I take my step, I'm going to want to left foot is going to kind of move forward, right foot behind, and then we'll kind of put a little shuffle. I know here you're early on, you're just kind of playing catch, but we want to make sure that we're closed off. You can see how that right foot is really angled like towards your target. We want to stack those feet straight ahead, and we want to get you to use that lower half just a little bit better. But what we're going to focus on today, okay, we'll get into the lower half later, is the top half. So first and foremost, make sure that we're closed up when we start to play catch. We're going to pull the ball out of our glove. And then as you separate and you start to kind of think about, if you had a band, you're going to pull the band apart. Your left hand's going to flow forward with the glove. The right hand with the softball is going to flow back. And right here you can see, let me grab my little markers here, okay, is that you can see the angle moving down. Right? What we want to do is we're going to clear that out. We want to make the angle move this way. We want to get the glove up higher, get you in that back hip, and get that elbow, that right elbow, working a little bit lower. You can see how you get really high with it right there, and that's not a big deal. But right now what we want to do is we want to focus on creating kind of this angle with your shoulders, which is going to stack that chin over that back hip just a little bit better. As we continue to move forward here, as you drive forward, you can see, again, we've kind of got this, and sorry for that drawing, we'll clear that out. We're still low, right? We want to be at least at 0 if possible. I would prefer you to be, somewhere in there as we work through it. But we want to think about driving that glove almost to the sky, riding that back hip, and letting that elbow, that throwing elbow, work down a little bit lower below your shoulder, so we don't create any type of impingement or any additional stress on your shoulder. As we work through this movement pattern, you'll see kind of the glove starts to turn, okay, right there, and you'll see the hand start to rise. That's good. That's the timing we're looking for. That's really good. So what we say roll rise or pull pop. So we're utilizing that glove. So you kind of roll that glove, see how it opens up, and the hand is rising. Now, when you do this, though, what you'll start to see is you'll see your upper body you'll see kind of the volleyball, the text on your shirt will start to open up, okay? We want to stay closed with that top half. We want to think about probably the way you hit, how we want to load back. We want to create separation. We want to do the same thing when we throw. So we want to stay close with that top half as long as we can. And then when the hand goes up, look how high this elbow, right? Look how high that's wanting to get, okay? So if this is directly across right here at 0, look how high above that line that you are, okay? So that's the first thing. We want to relax that elbow a little bit and think about working what we call a scap load, or think about like a pec stretch, right? So your chest muscles, we want to think about like right there, almost pulling the arm back like you're going to throw a punch. So if I back it up just a little bit right here, we want to think about pulling that arm back, retracting back like you're going to throw a punch. And then when the glove rolls and the hand rises, we don't want the elbow to continue to rise. We only want the softball to rise, okay? So that's what we call external rotation, is that hand works back. Again, this is going to be much easier when we jump on the phone and I show you, but I want to break it down so you can understand what's going on. And then as we start to move forward, you'll see the elbow continue to climb higher and higher and higher. And when you do that, it doesn't allow for that arm to lay back like you want it to. We want that elbow to be a little bit lower so that way this arm can almost lay back there, right? And if it's really good, like we can get 0, we can go even lower in laying that arm back. And what I mean by that is see where we're at right here. We want to lay that back here. That's going to be the number one spring, is that shoulder spring, okay? So you get minimum external rotation. You're not loading the catapult real well at all. The timing of catching that external rotation, that layback, is not on time, and that's what's causing such a difference of velo from your exit speed and your arm speed. We got quite a discrepancy there of velo speeds because the elbow is working up. We want to lower that elbow so when I start to make that turn right there, this arm is going to start laying back already, okay? I'm going to send you a video of Skylar as well so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. It's going to be in comparison to you. And as you move forward, so now finally we start to lay back. So elite level throwers, as they start to make the turn right here, they're already working back into that external rotation, that layback, okay? As you move forward, you do a good job of driving the elbow past your profile, almost too much. And then again, look at when you release that ball, look at your arm, okay? It is... Let me grab this, there and there. We're not even to full extension. When you go to release that ball, we want that ball coming out of your hand at full extension, right? When I mean extension, it's like, think about right now, just extend your arm forward like you're reaching towards your target out in front. And we want to get that wrist. Remember we talked about the 3 springs, the shoulder, the elbow, which we're utilizing the tricep, and then the wrist to flip that ball. There's added velo by flipping that ball out in front of your face, okay? So as we continue to kind of move through this, as you're going and you release the ball, let's watch your finish. Great, look at that pronation. See how the thumb works down? That's fantastic. You do a lot of stuff really, really well here. We've just got to catch that layback a little bit better, okay? So let's see if I can do this real quick while we're on here. All right, I'm going to add Skylar in real quick. And what I want you to see is watch this right here. So as she gets to this place right here, okay, the elbow is pretty much maybe just a tad bit higher than the shoulder. That's something she and I talk about a lot. She used to be much higher than that, kind of like you are. She's getting better. But when she makes this turn right here, look at that arm. See how the elbow almost starts to lower? And she works into this huge range of motion. Look at that, okay? So look at that, and then look at yours. See why she probably throws harder, right? Now, there's some stuff with the lower half, too, that we can talk about, but right now we're just talking about getting that elbow lower so you can work into that layback. As we move forward with her, you can see here, and then she's going to work into that slot. The elbow just stays on line, and then watch this. She gets that, and she gets to full extension right there, and you see her fingers and her wrist work down, and then she pronates really good too, just like you do. So she's getting through that ball with everything she's got, loading all three of those springs, and that's why she's an elite level thrower, right? I mean, I would put her up against anyone in the country at her age of what we've been able to do with it. But look, you have the same body type. You guys are very, very similar with your body types, okay? She trains her butt off. Hopefully you're doing the same thing. But if we get to this position right here, and you can see how she starts to pull that glove to her chest, that's something else that we work on, is trying to pull that glove to your chest to speed that hand up. And once you start to get here, again, see how high the elbow gets compared to where hers is? And then as she goes forward, that elbow lowers. See how she naturally just kind of starts to lower into it? That's why I've been working with her about just keeping it a little bit lower. Thinking about pulling that arm back like you're throwing a punch, keeping it a little bit lower. And then look at this huge external rotation as she's rotating. And you'll see you get a little pushy with your lower half too. And then almost stand yourself up tall. And look how low she stays to the ground and then just powers that thing through. That's probably... On that power shuffle, I think that was like 77 miles an hour, which is, really crazy for a 16-year-old girl to be able to do that. But you can do it too. It's all movement patterns, okay? It's all movement patterns. We're about 11 minutes into this, but that is kind of the gist of all of it. Okay, let's take that off. And again, let me just back up and show you when you move into external rotation, okay? Your first turn, let's make your first turn. Let me back it up right there, okay? So look at that and look at Skylar when she starts to make her first turn of look how much different that looks. And see, when we zoom in, you can see kind of the wrinkles in her shirt up here, okay? This right here, look at that. She is creating that stress in that pectoral muscle, right? The one that you use to press and do push-ups with. We want to stretch that thing as we go into the throwing motion. And you can see as we go another click forward for you right here. And let's go a couple clicks forward for Skylar to kind of get her to where you're at, where your elbow is. And look at that. Look at the difference, right? The angle's a little bit different of the camera, but look at you and look at her, right? When you look at that, which one of those athletes is going to throw faster? Well, we already know. Like that one's laying that spring way back, and that spring is just going to catapult forward, okay? All right, I'm going to send this over to your dad. You guys review it. I will talk with him about a time that we can jump on a FaceTime call and kind of work through it. And preferably maybe where you have some time, outside or kind of in an indoor, and we can talk through it and kind of just work you basically in a lesson in a way, so you can kind of just listen. Maybe you have some AirPods and we can kind of talk through it. And then what we'll do from there, once you understand the movement patterns we're looking for, I'll put together, if you guys like what you hear, if your dad likes what he's hearing, I'll put together some drills for you to do that we've also done with Skylar and we do with all my athletes that have any type of arm path inefficiencies. And we get them working on it, and I'm telling you, it's crazy. You give it 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, right? Everyone learns at a little bit different level, but those who are consistent, you'll have this figured out in just a couple weeks, maybe a week. This depends on the level of athlete you are and the mind-body connection. But watching you move and hearing from your dad of how accelerated you are already, like this is going to be an easy fix for you. We just got to get you to understand the movement patterns, and we got to spend some time in the mirror and working some weighted balls so we know exactly what we're trying to do. Okay? All right, I'm going to shoot this over to your dad. Talk to you soon.